Barron Trump, the youngest son of Donald Trump, has just turned 18, and something absolutely astonishing has happened. Something so incredible, so jaw-dropping, that it's hands down the greatest secret reveal ever to hit the Trump family. For years, the world has watched this towering figure grow up in the shadows, hidden away from the spotlight by his fiercely protective mother, Melania Trump. But now, at 18, Barron has stepped forward with a revelation so hilarious, so earth-shattering, that it's flipped everything we thought we knew about him upside down. What he's kept buried for years isn't just a secret. It's a weapon, one that's about to humiliate everyone who dared to whisper lies about him. The rumors, the conspiracies, the endless chatter, they're all about to be crushed under the weight of his truth. And trust me, you're not ready for how wild this gets. Barron's life has never been normal. Born into unimaginable wealth and power, he didn't just grow up differently from other kids. He grew up in a world so extraordinary that it's hard to even imagine. While most 18-year-olds are worrying about college applications or their first jobs, Barron's been navigating a labyrinth of luxury, secrecy, and sky-high expectations. His mother, Melania, built a fortress around him, shielding him from the prying eyes of the media and the public. She made sure his childhood wasn't splashed across tabloids like his older siblings, Ivanka, Don Jr., Eric, and Tiffany. Instead, Barron's story stayed locked away, a mystery that only grew bigger and more tantalizing with every passing year. But that privacy came at a cost. The world didn't just leave him alone, they filled the silence with rumors. Wild, ridiculous, outrageous rumors. Some said he wasn't even Donald Trump's son. Others claimed he was hiding some dark secret about his past. For years, these whispers followed him like a shadow, growing louder as he grew taller. Literally taller, because at 6'9", Barron towers over everyone in the Trump family. His height alone sparked endless speculation, with people pointing fingers and spinning tales about his real origins. And through it all, Barron stayed silent, until now. What he revealed at 18 isn't just a fact, it's a bombshell. It's the kind of twist that makes you gasp, lean forward, and wonder how he kept it hidden for so long. This isn't about some boring little detail from his childhood. No, this is about power, identity, and revenge. Barron's secret slashes through the lies like a blade, cutting down his enemies, those gossip mongers, conspiracy theorists, and haters who thought they could define him. And the best part, he's doing it with a smirk, a quiet confidence that says, "I've known this all along, and now you're going to regret doubting me." To understand why this moment is so huge, we have to go back, way back to the beginning. Barron's story doesn't start at 18. It starts the day he was born, in a world of glitz, glamour, and chaos that only the Trump family could create. His parents, Donald and Melania, weren't just a couple, they were a headline-making machine. Donald, the brash real estate tycoon turned reality TV star, and Melania, the stunning Slovenian model with an air of mystery, had a love story that captivated the world. They met in 1998 at a swanky Manhattan fashion party, where Donald was already a larger-than-life figure, and Melania was carving her own path in the modeling world. Despite their 24-year age gap, sparks flew. She didn't give him her number right away. She took his instead, a bold move that hooked him instantly. Their romance wasn't all roses, though. There were ups and downs, stormy moments that tested them. But by 2004, Donald popped the question with a 12-carat ring worth a cool $1.5 million, and in 2005, they tied the knot in a wedding so extravagant it screamed Trump. Celebrities, politicians, and power players filled the guest list, gawking at the over-the-top celebration. Just 6 months later, everything changed again. Melania was pregnant. Donald was stunned. He'd always wanted kids with her, but so soon. He hadn't planned for it, not with his empire to run and his larger-than-life persona to maintain. Still, he rolled with it, and when it came time to name their son, he picked Barron, a name he'd always loved but never used for his other kids. Melania, though, had the final say. She'd been calling the baby Barron for months, whispering it to her growing belly, and when Donald waffled at the last second, she put her foot down. On March 20, 2006, Barron William Trump was born in New York City, a tiny bundle of potential in a family that lived larger than life. From that day forward, his world would be one of privilege, protection, and, eventually, profound mystery. What was it about this boy that would one day lead him to drop a secret so massive it would rewrite his story? Let's dive deeper into the life he led, the walls his mother built around him, and the whispers that refused to die. Barron Trump's early years weren't just private, they were practically invisible. Born into the glittering chaos of the Trump family, he could have been thrust into the spotlight like his older siblings, their lives dissected on magazine covers and TV screens. But Melania Trump had other plans. She didn't just protect Barron, she cocooned him, creating a golden cage of luxury and secrecy inside Trump Tower. While Donald was out conquering the world of business and later politics, Melania's mission was singular: keep Barron safe, keep him normal, keep him hers. Imagine growing up in a penthouse so grand it's more like a palace than a home. Barron didn't just have a room, he had an entire floor to himself. Picture it: sprawling spaces decked out in gold and marble, floor-to-ceiling windows with views of Manhattan's skyline, and a playroom bigger than most people's houses. Most kids share cramped bedrooms or argue over toys with siblings. Not Barron. His world was vast, pristine, and solitary, a reflection of the Trump family's larger-than-life grandeur. Melania made sure it was a sanctuary, a place where he could be a kid despite the insanity swirling outside those gilded walls. She wasn't your typical rich mom either. No nannies hovering around, no army of staff raising her son for her. Melania changed diapers, soothed midnight cries, and watched over Barron's every move herself. For a woman who'd strutted runways in Paris and Milan, this was a shocking shift. She traded high fashion for hands-on parenting, pouring every ounce of her energy into giving Barron a childhood that felt, dare we say it, almost ordinary. Sure, ordinary with a side of private jets and million-dollar views, but still, her touch was personal, deliberate, and fierce. Barron wasn't a wild kid either. From his first wobbly steps across Trump Tower's polished floors, he showed a quiet curiosity that set him apart. He loved building things: Lego sets, magnetiles, model cities that sprawled across his playroom like miniature empires. He'd spend hours stacking blocks, designing airports, and sketching out helicopters, his little hands crafting worlds of his own. Melania noticed his knack for detail early on. If he scribbled on the walls, she didn't scold him. She saw it as art, a spark of creativity worth nurturing. "We'll just paint over it," she'd say, letting his imagination run free. His fascination with planes and construction wasn't random. It was almost eerie how much he mirrored his father, even as a toddler. Donald had built skyscrapers that redefined cityscapes. Barron built tiny towers that hinted at the same ambition. On family trips to Mar-a-Lago, their sprawling Florida estate, or abroad, Barron's sharp memory stood out. He'd point out buildings or landmarks he'd seen months before, reciting details like a human blueprint. Melania beamed with pride, calling him Little Donald for his focus and flair. But unlike his dad, Barron liked things clean, simple, white. His room a minimalist haven amid the Trump family's usual excess. School came next, and Melania picked Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School, a top-tier private academy on Manhattan's Upper West Side. It wasn't just fancy, it was elite, a place where the rich and powerful sent their kids to become richer and more powerful. Barron fit right in, but not because he flaunted his name. He was smart, independent, and stubborn in the best way. Teachers noticed how he'd dig into projects, how he'd argue his point with a calm, steady voice. He wasn't loud like his dad. He didn't need to be. His presence was enough. Then there was the language thing. Barron didn't just speak English. He was fluent in Slovenian thanks to Melania and her parents. He'd chatter away with his grandma in her native tongue, picking up French along the way to become trilingual before most kids mastered cursive. It was impressive, sure, but Melania kept it low-key. She wanted him sharp, not showy. English ruled in public, but at home, he was a global kid, soaking up his heritage like a sponge. Even with all this, Barron's life stayed under wraps. No paparazzi shots, no tabloid scandals. Melania's shield held strong until it didn't. The rumors started creeping in, quiet at first, then louder, uglier. People couldn't handle the mystery. Who was this kid? Why was he so tall? Why didn't he look more like Donald? The whispers turned into theories, and the theories turned into a storm Barron couldn't escape. But he didn't fight back, not yet. He was storing it all up, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Everything changed when Barron Trump was 10. His father, Donald Trump, won the 2016 election, and suddenly the golden cage of Trump Tower wasn't home anymore. The White House was a 132-room mansion dripping with history, power, and pressure. For most kids, moving means a new neighborhood or school. For Barron, it meant trading skyscrapers for Secret Service agents, city streets for marble halls, and privacy for a fishbowl life no one could prepare him for. At 10, he was the youngest kid to live in the White House since John F. Kennedy Jr., and the spotlight was brutal. The move didn't happen right away, though. When Donald took office in January 2017, Barron and Melania stayed behind in New York. Why? School. Barron was midway through his year at Columbia Grammar, and Melania wasn't about to rip him out of his routine just because the world demanded it. For 5 months, they held steady in Trump Tower, letting him finish 5th grade with his friends. It was a bold move. First ladies don't usually delay their Washington debut, but Melania didn't care. Barron came first. Then on June 11, 2017, they arrived. Barron stepped into the White House, a lanky 10-year-old with wide eyes and a life about to get weirder. His new home wasn't just a house, it was a fortress. Secret Service agents shadowed his every move, their radios crackling as he wandered halls once walked by Lincoln and Roosevelt. The weight of it all hit him hard. Donald admitted Barron was nervous about leaving New York, his friends, his school, his floor in the penthouse. But he promised his son it'd be worth it, that he'd help people, including kids like him. That idea stuck with Barron, easing the sting of the upheaval. Life there was anything but normal. Barron didn't run wild like some kids might. He stuck to routine. He'd show up at events like the Easter egg roll, pushing eggs across the lawn with a wooden spoon while cameras clicked. At Thanksgiving, he watched his dad pardon a turkey, a goofy tradition that made him crack a rare smile. When the Christmas tree arrived, he stood with Melania on the north portico, dwarfing the adults around him even then. These moments were small, but they were glimpses into a kid trying to find his footing in a world that wouldn't stop starring. School was another curveball. Most presidential kids went to Sidwell Friends, a D.C. hotspot for political offspring. Not Barron. Melania picked St. Andrew's Episcopal School in Potomac, Maryland, a quieter, less flashy choice with a hefty $40,000 a year tuition. It was far from the White House, meaning daily commutes with a Secret Service convoy winding through traffic. Why St. Andrew's? Melania wanted him out of the political pressure cooker, in a place where he could breathe, learn, and grow without every move dissected. The school's focus on character and academics fit her vision for him perfectly. Barron thrived there, but he didn't flaunt it. He was the tall kid with the sharp mind, the one who'd sketch plain designs in his notebooks or ace a history quiz without breaking a sweat. Classmates knew who he was, how could they not? But he didn't trade on the Trump name. He was just Barron, the guy who liked order, who kept his desk neat and his thoughts neater. Teachers loved his focus. Melania loved his independence. Then came 2021. Donald's presidency ended and the Trumps packed up for Mar-a-Lago, their palm-fringed palace in Florida. Barron was 14, lanky and quiet, facing yet another shift. This time he landed at Oxbridge Academy, a private school in Palm Beach known for churning out leaders. It was a fresh start, a chance to fade back into the shadows after 4 years of White House madness. And fade he did, almost completely. No interviews, no photos, no noise. Barron vanished from the public eye, leaving the world to wonder what he was up to. But the rumors didn't stop. If anything, they got louder. His height, now pushing 6'7", fed the fire. He didn't look like Donald, people said. His face was sharper, his vibe cooler. Conspiracy nuts ran wild, claiming Melania had hidden some big secret about his birth, Was he really Trump's son? Was there a donor, a cover-up? The internet churned out garbage and Barron stayed silent, letting it pile up. He wasn't ready to fight back, not yet. He was biding his time, building something bigger. For years after 2021, Barron Trump was a ghost. His dad's first presidency was over, and while Ivanka and Don Jr. stayed loud pushing businesses, popping up on TV, Barron went dark. No social media, no paparazzi shots, nothing. The world remembered him as that skinny 10-year-old from the 2017 inauguration, yawning through his dad's speech, fidgeting in a Navy suit. Back then, he'd been a kid lost in the chaos, cameras zooming in on every sleepy blink. Now he was gone, and the silence only made the rumors crazier. That 2017 day stuck with people. January 20, the air biting cold, the crowd massive, world leaders, celebrities, the whole circus. Barron stood there, dwarfed by the moment but impossible to ignore. He was only 10, but his height and those sharp features already hinted at the giant he'd become. Melania kept him close, her hand brushing his shoulder as he shuffled through the ceremony. The footage went viral. People laughed at his yawns, cooed at his awkward charm. Then he disappeared and the world moved on, or so it thought. Fast forward to 2025. Donald Trump wins the presidency again and everything explodes. A tall, broad-shouldered figure steps onto the stage beside him and jaws drop. Is that Barron? The shy kid from 2017 is gone. In his place is an 18-year-old titan, 6'9", all muscle and poise, a man who looks like he could bench press the podium. Donald brags about his height in speeches, grinning as the crowd roars. Barron's boyish face has hardened into something striking. High cheekbones, a steady gaze, a vibe that's cool, calm, and collected. He's not a kid anymore. He's a force. The 2025 inauguration is electric. Barron's in a black suit, tailored to perfection, hugging his frame like it was sewn onto him. The white shirt's crisp, the navy tie subtle but sharp. His shoes, black Oxfords, gleam under the lights and a sleek watch peeks from his cuff. It's pure Melania, elegant, understated, flawless. She stands nearby, glowing with pride, her years of shielding him paying off in this moment. He's not just tall, he's commanding, moving with a grace that catches everyone off guard. Then he does it. Donald pauses his speech to nod at Barron and the crowd erupts. In the past, he might have ducked his head, dodged the attention, not now. He cups his hand to his ear, smirking, egging them on. The cheers double, laughter ripples through, and suddenly Barron's not just there, he's owning it. It's a tiny move, but it's everything. The internet lights up. Who is this guy? Where's the shy kid? He's rewriting his story in real time and no one saw it coming. College is his next move, and it's a curveball. Instead of some Ivy League power play or a cushy Trump org gig, Barron picks New York University. He's staying in New York, living in Trump Tower, rooted in the city he loves. It's his call, not his parents', a flex of independence that surprises even Melania. She confirms it in a rare interview. Barron chose this. He knows what he wants. NYU's a big deal, sure, but it's not DC or LA. It's home, a sign he's carving his own path, not riding his dad's coattails. The rumors, though, they don't quit. His height, his looks, his quiet streak, it's all fuel. Online sleuths dig in. He's too tall to be Donald's. Melania's hiding something. They spin tailies of secret dads, donors, even sci-fi nonsense about him being engineered. Donald's loud about his other kids, praising them constantly, but with Barron, crickets. Theorists pounce, see. He knows Barron's not his. It's absurd, baseless, but it sticks, growing uglier by the day. Melania's protection starts looking like a cover-up to the paranoid. Barron hears it all. He's not deaf, he's just patient. Every whisper, every lie, he logs it, stores it, lets it simmer. He's not the overwhelmed kid from 2017 anymore. He's a giant, literally and figuratively, waiting for the perfect shot. And when he takes it, it's going to be a knockout. The world's not ready for what's coming. Barron Trump's silence didn't calm the storm, it fed it. By 2025, the rumors about him weren't just background noise, they were a screaming mob. His height, 6'9" and still climbing, became the spark. Donald's 6'3", a decent size, but Barron's a skyscraper next to him. His face didn't scream Trump either, sharper, cooler, more Melania than Donald. The internet lost it. "He's not his son," they howled. "Look at him, he's too different." It was nonsense, but it spread like wildfire. The theories got wilder. Some said Melania had a secret lover, a tall mystery man from her modeling days. Others claimed Barron was a donor baby, cooked up in a lab because Donald was too old, 70 when Barron was born. A few nutjobs even floated time travel garbage, saying he was some future Trump sent back to mess with us. No proof, no facts, just noise. But it stuck. People love a scandal, and Barron's quiet life was the perfect blank slate for their trash. Donald didn't help. He'd rave about Ivanka's smarts, Don Jr.'s grit, Eric's hustle, on and on. Barron, barely a mention. In speeches, interviews, anywhere, he'd skip over his youngest like he wasn't there. Conspiracy nuts pounced. He's distant because he knows. They painted Melania's protection as a smokescreen, her silence as guilt. She kept Barron off the grid, no interviews, no leaks, and to the paranoid that screamed cover-up. Was she hiding a bombshell? Barron knew it all. He wasn't some clueless kid scrolling X for fun. He was sharp, aware, tracking every word. Growing up, he'd heard the whispers, seen the headlines his mom tried to bury. At St. Andrews, classmates whispered. At Oxbridge, the chatter followed. Even at NYU, it lingered. He didn't flinch. He didn't rant or cry or lash out. He watched, waited, let it build. Melania taught him that stay cool, stay above it, but he wasn't just hiding, he was planning. The rumors hit peak insanity when he popped up at the 2025 inauguration. That hand-to-ear move, that smirk, it flipped the script. Suddenly, he wasn't the shy kid anymore, he was a player. The theorists doubled down. He's too confident, he's hiding something big. They couldn't handle him stepping up, owning the stage. It didn't fit their victim narrative, so they twisted harder. More secret dad tailies, more donor conspiracies. It was desperate, pathetic, and loud. Melania saw it too. She spent 18 years building walls around Barron, but the world kept clawing. She didn't crack, no teary interviews, no clapbacks. She stayed stone cold, guiding Barron to do the same. They'd faced worse, paparazzi, politics, the White House fishbowl. This was just noise, but it was personal now. The lies weren't just about Donald, they were about her, her son, her family. And Barron, he'd had enough. He didn't owe anyone anything. Not the theorists, not the haters, not the clout chasers dissecting his life. But he wasn't going to let them win either. He'd grown up with the truth, his truth, and it was time to wield it. Not out of anger, not out of spite, but because he could. Because he was ready. The secret he'd kept wasn't some dark twist or shameful lie. It was better. It was a hammer, and he was about to drop it on everyone who dared to doubt him. Barron Trump didn't wake up one day at 18 and decide to spill his guts. This was years in the making, a slow burn, a masterclass in patience. Growing up, he'd seen how his family worked the world. Donald blustered, Ivanka dazzled, Don Jr. charged, each had their style. Barron was different. He didn't need noise. He didn't crave cameras. He watched, learned, and waited, letting the rumors pile up like kindling. By 2025, that pile was a mountain, and he was ready to light it up. It started small. At NYU, he kept his head down, classes, dorms, the usual college grind, but people noticed him. You can't miss a 6'9" freshman striding across campus, all quiet confidence in sharp suits. Classmates whispered, professors raised eyebrows. He wasn't loud, but he was there, acing exams, sketching designs in notebooks, owning every room without saying much. Word spread. Barron Trump was different. Not shy, not weak, different. Melania watched from afar, proud but wary. She drilled into him, control your story, don't let it control you. She lived it, decades of headlines, lies, scrutiny, and she'd made damn sure Barron wouldn't be their puppet. He took it to heart. When the 2025 campaign kicked off, he didn't jump in like his siblings. No rallies, no speeches. He stayed back, a shadow figure, letting Donald's win wash over him. Then came the inauguration, that hand-to-ear moment, and the world woke up. Barron wasn't hiding, he was prepping. The secret wasn't some last-minute stunt. He'd known it forever, carried it like a second skin. It wasn't about his birth or his dad, that was the rumor mill's garbage. It was bigger, sharper, a truth he'd honed over years. He dropped hints if you knew where to look. Those plain sketches at St. Andrew, the Lego cities at Trump Tower, the way he'd memorized skylines as a kid. It was all connected, pieces of a puzzle he'd kept locked away. Why now? Timing. Donald's second term put the Trumps back in the spotlight, and Barron saw his shot. The rumors had hit critical mass, too loud to ignore, too dumb to let slide. He could have stayed quiet, let them fester, but that wasn't him anymore. He, grown into his height, his name, his power. At 18, he wasn't just Donald's son. He was Barron Trump, and he was done being a punching bag. The reveal wasn't rushed. He planned it where, when, how, not some flashy press conference or X-thread, something quieter, stronger, his style. Melania knew it was coming. She'd seen the shift in him. That cool, steady gaze she'd nurtured was now a weapon. He didn't tell her everything, just enough. "It's time," he'd said, and she nodded. She raised him for this, to stand tall and strike back. The world had no clue what was brewing. The theorists kept spinning, the haters kept hatting, all oblivious to the trap Barron had set. He wasn't going to just shut them up, he was going to bury them. His secret wasn't a confession or a sob story. It was a flex, a middle finger to every lie ever told about him. And when it dropped, it'd be surgical, precise, devastating, and oh so satisfying. March 2025. Barron Trump picks a quiet spot, nothing grand, just a small NYU lecture hall. No cameras, no circus, just him, a mic, and a room of students who'd signed up for some random campus talk. Word leaks fast, though, Barron Trump's speaking. By the time he steps up, the place is packed, phones out, live streams rolling. He's in a black sweater, jeans, towering over the podium, casual but commanding. The air's thick, everyone knows something. Up. He starts slow, voice low and steady. "I've heard the rumors my whole life," he says, pausing as the room leans in. "Tall kid, quiet kid, Trump kid, people made up whatever they wanted, I let them, didn't care until now." The crowd buzzes, but he doesn't flinch. He's not here to rant or beg, he's here to end it. "I've known the truth forever, kept it to myself. Not because I had to, because I wanted to. My mom taught me that. Don't give them anything unless it's on your terms." Then it hits. "They said I'm not my dad's son, said I'm some secret, some lie. They're wrong. I've got proof, DNA done years ago. Melania made me take it, not because we doubted, but because she knew one day I'd need it. My father's Donald Trump. Always has been, that's not the secret." Gasps ripple through. "If that's not it, then what?" He smirks, just a flicker, and drops the real bomb. "I've been building something. Since I was a kid, planes, cities, designs. I didn't just play with Legos, I studied them. Every trip, every building I saw, I remembered it. I've got plans, blueprints for things no one's dreamed of. Airports that run themselves, towers that touch the sky. I'm not here to follow my dad, I'm here to outdo him." The room erupts. He pulls out a tablet, swipes, and projects sketches, futuristic, insane, brilliant. "This is what I hid. Not my name, not my blood, my future." It's a gut punch. The rumors collapse under the weight of it. He's not just Trump's kid, he's a visionary, a prodigy who's been plotting his empire in silence. The theorists look like fools, the haters choke on their words. He wraps it up fast. "I didn't talk before because I didn't need to. Now you know, that's it." He walks off, leaving chaos behind. The internet explodes. Clips go viral, his voice, his designs, that smirk. Barron Trump's a genius. He just roasted everyone. The blueprints trend, sleek, wild, real. Experts weigh in, they're ambitious, maybe doable. His enemies, those rumor-peddling clowns, shrink, humiliated by a kid who turned their lies into dust. Barron's not just free, he's untouchable. Barron Trump's reveal doesn't just land, it detonates. Within hours, X is a war zone. Hashtags like Barron the Builder and Trump Prodigy spike, drowning out the old conspiracies. His sketches, those wild, futuristic designs, get dissected by architects, engineers, tech geeks. Some call them pipe dreams, others say they're genius. One tweet sums it up. "Kid's 18 and already outsmarting half the industry. Whoops." The rumor crowd scrambles, but their donor dad nonsense is dead. Barron's DNA line and blueprints killed it. Melania's the quiet victor. She'd known, maybe not the details, but the strength. Her years of shielding him, teaching him to wait, paid off. She doesn't gloat, no interviews, no victory lap. She's just there watching her son soar, a faint smile saying it all. Donald's louder, of course. "My boy, a star, taller than me, smarter than me, watch out," he booms at a rally. It's classic Trump, but for once, Barron's the one stealing the show. The haters don't go quietly. Some double down, it's a PR stunt, but it's weak. The designs are too good, too detailed. Old clips resurface, Barron at 10 fidgeting at the inauguration, Barron at 14 towering at Mar-a-Lago. Now it clicks, he wasn't lost or shy. He was thinking, planning, growing. The world missed it, but he didn't. Every snide article, every dumb theory he'd turned into fuel. NYU buzzes, classmates spill. He's chill but scary smart. Professors nod, he's aced engineering courses, sketched in margins, asked questions that stumped them. The lecture hall stunt wasn't random, it was his turf, his terms. The blueprints leak wider, airports with AI traffic, towers with ecotech. Tech blogs salivate. Is this the next Elon? Barron doesn't answer. He's back to class, head down, letting the noise do the work. His enemies crushed. The conspiracy clowns who'd hounded him for years, YouTubers, ex-trolls, tabloid hacks face the backlash. Their channels tank, their posts get ratioed. You messed with the wrong Trump, one viral reply reads. Barron didn't just win, he humiliated them and the crowd loves it. The bigger the hater, the harder they fall. Barron Trump not done. The reveal's just the start. By late 2025, he's a name, not a shadow, not a rumor, a name. His blueprints catch big eyes, tech firms, real estate giants, even NASA folks. Whispers of internships, partnerships, deals swirl. He's 18, still at NYU, but the world's knocking. He doesn't bite, not yet. I'll do it my way, he tells a rare interviewer, voice calm, eyes sharp. It's not arrogance, it's certainty. His past clicks into focus. Those Lego cities weren't kid stuff, they were prototypes. The plane obsession, a blueprint for aviation overhaul. Melania's Little Donald line echoes. He's got his dad's drive, but quieter, cleaner, sharper. Donald built loud, Barron builds smart. Mar-a-Lago staff spill old stories, him sketching by the pool, asking about structural loads at 12. It's not a fluke, it's a pattern. The public's hooked. Memes flood X, Barron towering over Trump Tower, captioned new boss in town. Teens idolize him, tall, cool, untouchable. Older folks see a throwback ambition with grit. His style minimal, sleek, spawns trends. Black sweaters spike in sales. Barron vibes becomes a thing. He doesn't chase it. He's at lectures, hitting the gym, living his life. Theories shift. No more who's his dad, now it's what's he building next. Some say he's got secret projects, patents stashed away. Others bet he'll ditch college, launch a company. He doesn't confirm or deny. That smirk from the lecture hall lingers. He knows more and he's not telling. The intrigue's thicker than ever, but it's his now, not theirs. His family watches, mixed. Donald's proud but antsy, will Barron outshine him? Melania's serene, she built this. Siblings eye him warily, he's not playing their game. Barron doesn't care. He's not here to fit in, he's here to rewrite the board. The humiliated haters fade, but new ones lurk, waiting for a slip. They won't get it. He's too steady, too locked in. Barron Trump's 18th year isn't just a moment, it's a launch. By December 2025, he's not just a Trump kid or a college freshman, he's a phenomenon. The lecture hall reveal ripples worldwide. His blueprints, those wild, brilliant sketches, aren't just viral, they're a challenge. Tech moguls DM him, architects beg for collabs. A Silicon Valley VC offers millions to fund his airport of the future. Barron doesn't blink. Not yet, he says through a rep, staying at NYU, grinding out calculus and physics like it's no big deal. But it is. He's playing the long game and everyone's watching. His past snaps into focus, a story no one saw coming. That floor in Trump Tower, a lab, not a playroom. Those Lego sets, hundreds of them stacked into cities, weren't toys, they were practice. At 5, he'd build, destroy, rebuild, each version tighter, smarter. Melania's paint over it line wasn't soft parenting, it was fuel. She saw the spark, fanned it. By 10, he's sketching helicopters, quizzing pilots at Mar-a-Lago. At 14, he's graphing wind resistance in a notebook, alone in his room while DC buzzed below. It's not random, it's relentless. The White House years, a pressure cooker. Secret Service trailing him to St. Andrews, classmates gawking, he hated it but used it. He'd sit in history class, tracing blueprints under his desk, tuning out the noise. Teachers caught him once, flipped through, went quiet. This kid's different, one told Melania later. She knew. She raised him to block it all out: paparazzi, politics, rumors, and focus. That focus is why he's here now, 18 and untouchable. The 2025 inauguration was the pivot. That hand-to-ear move wasn't planned, it was instinct, a flash of the Barron he'd kept caged. The crowd's roar lit something. He'd spent years silent, absorbing, but that day he felt it: power. Not his dad's loud, brash kind, his own, cool and cutting. The lecture hall was the follow-through, a strike he'd timed for maximum damage. "My future," he'd said, and the world heard it loud. The fallout seismic. His enemies, the conspiracy freaks, the ex-trolls, the tabloid vultures crumble. Their donor dad drivel laughed off, their channels bleed subs. One big YouTuber, a rumor peddler with 1 million followers, posts a meek apology. "Guess I got it wrong." Too late. Barron's fans knew rabid, global, bury him in memes. Humiliated by an 18-year-old, sit down. The bigger they were, the harder they crash. It's not just victory, it's annihilation. His designs drive the frenzy. That AI-run airport. It's got self-landing runways, drone hubs, zero emissions, nuts but plausible. The tower sketches: curved steel, solar skin, 200 stories make Trump Tower look quaint. Experts debate, visionary or naive. A MIT prof tweets, "Kids got guts, math checks out." Elon Musk likes it, sparking Barron versus Elon buzz. He doesn't bite. He's not here to spar, he's here to build. NYU's his base, but it's temporary. Classmates spill. He's quiet but intense, doodling in lectures, acing tests without flexing. A prof catches him tweaking a design post-class, asks about it. Barron shrugs, "Just an idea." The idea's a floating heliport sketched in 10 minutes. Word spreads, the dean's fielding calls from CEOs. Barron ducks them, sticks to his dorm, Trump Tower on weekends. He's not rushing. Why would he? He's 18 with a lifetime to dominate. The family dynamic shifts. Donald's torn, proud but rattled. "He's gonna beat me," he jokes at a rally, half serious. Melania's his rock, silent but smug, she molded this. Ivanka and Don Jr. watch uneasy, he's not their rival yet, but he could be. Barron doesn't care, he's not in their lane, he's carving his own highway. Siblings tweet support, but it's stiff. He's the wild card now and they feel it. The public's obsessed. Teens copy his vibe, tall, chill, sharp. X churns out fan art, Barron atop a glowing tower captioned "King of the Sky." Older folks nod, he's got that old-school Trump hustle, refined. Brands pitch deals, sneakers, watches, tech. He says no, keeps it clean. That black sweater from the reveal, sold out everywhere. Barron core trends: minimal, sleek, powerful. He doesn't lean in, he doesn't need to. What's next? Guesses fly. Some say he'll drop out, start a firm. Others bet he'll finish NYU, then go big Trump org too, but greener, smarter. His designs hint at more spaceports, floating cities. He's mum, but that smirk says he's got plans, plural. A leaked sketch, accidentally snapped at a cafe, shows a drone carrier, massive, unreal. X loses it. He's not playing, he is, just not their game. The haters regroup, but they're weak. New ones pop up, jealous rivals, old guard skeptics, but Barron's armor's thick. Every jab bounces off, every win piles on. He's not just a Trump, he's the Trump who flipped the script, turned lies into legend. At 18, he's got the world guessing, waiting, wanting, and he's just getting started. The secret's out, but the story, it's wide open, and Barron Trump writing it. One blueprint, one smirk, one towering step at a time. If you enjoyed this story, check out another video with an even more amazing tale. There's always something exciting waiting for you on our channel. And don't forget, more wonderful stories are coming soon. Hit the subscribe button so you won't miss out on any of our upcoming adventures.